Hey fans of M&A, thanks for tuning in to another episode of M&A Sports Radio, and if you haven't already, please hit subscribe on your favorite podcast app.
While you're in there, leave us a rating, add a comment. We appreciate the feedback. Thank you for tuning in, M&A Sports Radio.
Audio Mailbag. We'll talk to our producer, holding it down in the Lower East Side for us. So we're moved to Astoria, so we have that neighborhood set up, and we still have our old stopping grounds in the Lower East Side. Joe Formica joins us. Joe, welcome back.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
You could call this the special edition Audio Mailbag as well, AJ.
Oh yes, I could.
This is kind of an inside edition.
The behind the scenes.
What the neighborhood's still like. Keep us updated when you call in from time to time for sure. But Joe, now that you're here, I know you got a couple things you want to talk to us about. Where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, you guys probably got everything covered in the mainstream sports world. You know, we got the finals going on. Nothing. Game's a little interesting tonight, but nothing doing too much there. And I'm sure you guys got some good Muhammad Ali coverage, recaps, legacy stuff. But I wanted to bring up another man who was pretty tough in and out of the ring. Goes by the name of Kimbo Slice. And pour out a little for him. He passed away, 2 days ago? Mm-hmm. Kimbo Slice, man. Two pretty interesting two people to pass away within, a couple of days of each other. Got the legend Muhammad Ali, one of, just the outpouring of praise for him, everything he did, how he affected people's lives as a fighter out of the ring. He didn't really, at least for me, he was more of like a historical figure for me, and never saw him fight, just saw clips of him and just heard from the older generation of how great he was, and really just larger than life. And then you got Kimbo Slice, R.I.P. Kimbo Slice, man, he was like the OG YouTube.
Yep.
Like Muhammad Ali was so before our time, such a legend. And for me, at least, I don't know about you guys, Kimbo Slice was like right in my time. Like that was peak. Getting on the internet, watching weird shit, and you got Kimbo just in backyards in the 305, knocking dudes' eye sockets out, and hitting them into like drill bits in a garage. And I don't know, man. I think it's funny, like what people do when someone passes away, like a celebrity, and like all the different reactions. And you just got one dude who's such a legend, and then to us, man, to anyone who's 30 and younger, Kimbo Slice, such a big part of my like late early teen years, watching some crazy stuff I've never seen before. Right when YouTube started popping off.
Joe, it's funny you bring up Kimbo Slice here because you mentioned it there where you talked about how Muhammad Ali was like a cultural symbol, but in a way, like. Kimbo Slice was kind of like a new age wave of like internet symbol. It's really
he was
world
star.
Yeah,
he was like he was one of the first internet stars.
And what people don't realize is when he's knocking guys out in those, that's just to put food on the table, just to get by, just for a few bucks.
Yeah.
That's something that what made him so unique is that those moments turned him into an MMA fighter and allowed him to live I think a life he never even imagined, probably starting out, like you mentioned, in the 305. And unfortunately, he passes away with heart failure while he was waiting for a new heart. But I'm sure with the failed PED test recently and stuff, we knew he wasn't squeaky clean. But I think more than anything, it's sad. But I think what he did, when I hear people talk about him, his whole life he was fighting uphill. And I think for a guy who started his life behind the eight ball, he did a lot for himself when he didn't have a really great chance right out of the shoot.
And the two moments that I remember vividly of the fights that he had in the backyard, the one where he knocked the guy's eye out, it's just, I will never forget that moment when they zoom in on the camera and the guy's eye is out of his socket and he still wants to fight him.
And he's smiling and he has a gold grill in.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful YouTube television, basically. And then the second one, he's fighting the guy and the guy puts his hands up like, no, I've had enough. And Kimbo's like, no, you haven't. Put your hands up, and then proceeds to beat him up more. Like, there was no stopping anything. It was just an all-out backyard brawl.
Yeah, and I don't think there's, like, that's why when I said it was, like, you know, it's not funny that they both passed away in such a short time, but it's, like, just coincidental and crazy because it's, like whatever, Kimbo Slice, that's what he was, just a straight-up backyard brawler. Was he, like a bodyguard for porn stars or something like that too?
Yep. That's exactly how he started.
Yeah, man. I just think it's crazy. It's like Muhammad Ali, just larger than life, biggest legend. But you know, yet at least for someone like me, whatever, 20, 25, 26 years old, like I don't really feel that. Like it's, you know, yeah, I know how much respect people had for him. And then someone like Kimbo Slice, man, like straight up, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Nothing more to this dude than a backyard brawler, one of the toughest, scariest dudes you could ever come up against. And, you know, it didn't really make a change in the world, but it really did, because I think that, like, binge watching those videos was a hilarious part of, like, my childhood and getting on the internet and just seeing things for the first time and being like, what? Like, who is this dude?
Yeah.
And that's so common now, but when that came out, man, it was crazy.
That's one of the first YouTube wormholes I've ever went down, was the Kimbo Slice, just fight after fight after fight after fight.
Exactly, and there were so many to come after it, but that was definitely the first one for me. The first memorable one was just watching that dude in these, like, backyards in the 305, just putting in more. There was actually a time when I thought the fights weren't arranged. Like, I thought he just came through.
And just fought, dude.
Just showed up at a house and was like, I'm fighting you.
Not like just completely cold, but like maybe there was some beef and he was just like just confronting right there.
He
and
just
the
pulled
other
up
dude
on him.
On site. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I got for Kimbo. I got one more quick thing. We'll see how this pans out once this mailbag gets released. But I'm watching the Cavs Warriors game right now. Kyrie crossed over Steph. I think it was definitely in the first half. I think in the first quarter.
It was in the first half.
He had him moving. Then I saw on Instagram, Twitter, all over the place, all over the interwebs. There were like people who were saying this is like the most ridiculous crossover. He had him like in space. He was lost in the sauce. Maybe let's see how this pans out. I don't know if you guys have seen. I know you're recording. I don't know if you've seen the crossover. I think if people think that's an amazing crossover, I think that's one of the most overrated things I've ever heard in my life. Not that Steph is everyone knows he can't play defense anyway, so, like, who really cares? You've crossed him up a little bit. Not that impressive.
No, yeah.
Not impressive.
Joe, it's funny because I looked at a quick video, and it wasn't even like, it's kind of like Steph was leaning on him a little bit, and he almost like kind of shoves him off, and then he just goes like behind the back just to like get away from him. It's like
he used a screen too. It wasn't like an ISO cross up.
Yeah.
You know, he had like
it's one of the most overrated things I've ever seen. And the other thing that's weird too is like just like people. First of all, the crossover itself is not that good. Second of all, okay, if Steph did that to Kyrie, then I get it. Everyone's on his bandwagon anyway. Yeah. Like, they're going to be like, he did this, everything he does is gold, whatever. Are people really, like, on the, like... First of all, the Cavs are down 2-0. They might be down... Well, they're looking pretty good right now, but they might be down 3-0 tonight. And people are getting on, like Kyrie crossed up Steph. Okay, all right. Yeah, you join that bandwagon. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, Kyrie should worry about scoring 20 once in this series.
Yeah. I mean, it was. it's not like he put him on skates or made him fall. It was a good crossover, but I can understand your take, and I have the same take. Why is it being blown up out of proportion? I only can say that it's the finals and everyone's kind of watching, so to see that kind of happen, I guess that's why it's blowing up. But honestly, the Kimbo takes excellent, and I love the crossover take from you, Joe. Joe Formica, our producer. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for holding it down on the Lower East Side as we make the move to Astoria. We have two of New York City's prime neighborhoods that we are the number one podcast of, and we're trying to maintain that.
Crackman, pleasure as always. Miss you, man. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's M&A Audio Mailbag. Make sure you call 646-397-6368 to join the show or leave a message. See ya.